For the past 15 years, I've been building things, and for the last 10 years, I've been documenting my journey here on YouTube. And now it's time to take the next step, something I've never done before. A year ago, I moved into my first shop here in LA. A pretty small space, pretty modest. Probably the size of a 2-car garage, a metal box in the desert, and it was a good start because, to be honest, when I came here to LA, to America, I did not really know where I wanted to go. I knew I'm changing my life so much, I should at least try to open up to new opportunities, but I did not know what these opportunities here in LA were for me. So I started this small shop, kept doing what I'm doing, and just try to go with the flow. And I learned a couple things. For example, that I want to work more in sculpture. More about that later. But the biggest conclusion from this 1 year in a small shop is actually something that I learned 10, 15 years ago, and that is space is crucial for my work. This is not true for everybody. Some people thrive in a small shop, and some artists thrive with the limitation of space and just figuring out what to do with very little space, or very little tools, or very little material. I am the opposite. Space is not only where I work, it's also how I think. And here is one very, very simple example for why I need space. Good morning. It's early. I gotta show you something. See this mountain of mostly white oak? Planed. Beautiful cabinet. All these boxes. Whoa. Check this out. Box. That's all switches. Full of screws and bolts. Cool box. Cool box, whatever this is, like a homemade amplifier or something. Look at this. No. Keeps going. Check this out. Like these little knobs from old stereo, mostly aluminum. Check this out. It is unbelievable, but all this stuff I got for free in the last couple weeks, like 4 weeks max. This keeps happening to me. I mean, I do pick up trash. I do stop for things on the side of the road that I think it's interesting, but even more so, people give me stuff. People give me trash that they don't want anymore. That's a burden to them. And for me, this is an absolute treasure. These are not hands. These are trash magnets. You have to store it, organize it, and catalog it. You have to know what you have, otherwise it's not useful. And then it becomes hoarding, and that's not what I want to do. And in order to keep all these things, there's one thing that you have to have, and that is space. Oh my God, this place is so big, it actually has an echo. Just to explain roughly what is going to happen. So this will be wood stuff. Table saw, jointer, planer, bandsaw. All of this is going to be wood. Here in the middle is going to be the assembly area, I think. And now here on the other side, it's going to be all things metal. And then there's this little guy here, which probably be like a editing or podcasting bay. The curation of the material that you want to work with, things that inspire you, things that spark this energy of, oh my God, I see something in that object that is not there yet, but I can make that happen, is what drives me. This is just how I work. So curating my material is actually 80% of my design process. Just gathering cool stuff and turning that into other things. So space and the opportunity to collect is crucial for my practice. Now let's talk about the second thing. gatekeeping. And I want to tell you a really, really quick story. When I studied design in my university, they offered a screen printing workshop, and I was dying to take it. I really wanted to learn how to do screen printing, and that was way before I started building things. I think actually this experience is one of the things that made me get into actually building. So this class was always booked, and I could never take this class. Every semester it was full, and I got so tired of waiting in line, and I understood that this waiting, this frustration, this like gatekeeping is really messing with my motivation to get things done. I don't want to stand in line, I just want to do it. So I decided to buy one of these like face tanning lamps on eBay. It was $10 and a couple of used screens, and just learn how to do it in my apartment. And that was one of the most satisfying things I ever did up until that point. That is, as I said, one of the things where I realized I understand what do-it-yourself means. Not in the way DIY is used now, in the way that punks used it in the 80s, rejects, people who could not get their works published, bands who could not find a label, people who made zines with photocopy machines and just did bootleg tapes and sold them out of their cars. And I understood that standing in line takes all of my energy, and doing it myself, enabling myself to get something done, to learn a skill, to build something I have in mind, or to just learn how to screen print, is giving me a bunch of energy. Simple as that. So, as I said earlier, in the year in my small shop, I understood one of the big next steps I want to take is get into art. Going from just building furniture and experimenting with materials to I want to build sculptures. And this is now the first time that I was faced with gatekeeping ever since I started building. Because trying to get into the art space as somebody who is not an artist, I did not study art, I am not in the right circles, I do not understand how the art market works, it is almost impossible. So the second conclusion is, no more gatekeeping. If I want to be in a gallery, if I want to have my art presented in a gallery, I should open that gallery. Because I don't want to wait in line. I just want to do it. And even if it's a little shitty, or even if it's not successful at all, or maybe not in the beginning, I just want to learn how to do it. So Bricks is a gallery for makers. And the goal is to not only show my own work, but also from all these wonderful people that I met in the last 10 years being a part of the maker community. There is so much talent, so much creativity, so much willpower to get things done, to make visions come to life, to see ideas come through in this community. But I would guess not a lot of us have the chance to exhibit it. And I want to change that. Bricks, a gallery for makers. But now, and this is the big one, there's another room. And that is the exact same size. This is where I put all the stuff. And the plan for this part of the shop is right now to turn it into a showroom and community space. And now let's talk about the third point, community. Do you know this feeling when you are in a coffee shop, for example, and you see somebody wear a shirt of a band that you really, really like, this unknown band that you have been a fan of since forever, and now there's somebody wearing their shirt. You know you have something in common with that person. You share the love for a band. You love that band so much that you spend $35 after a show to get that t-shirt. Usually shitty quality. It's not about the t-shirt, it's about being a fan. If I see somebody in the wild with a Jimmy DiResta ice pick, or Tom Sachs shoes, or Adam Savage bag, or a Simone Yates puzzle, this is like the band shirt feeling, but only on steroids, because it's so much rarer. And I want Bricks Gallery not only to be my workshop, and a gallery space for makers, I also want this to hopefully open up to meetups, maybe workshops, maybe little events, just our own maker blanket fort, a tree house, a safe space, a community meetup where we can just hang out, be nerds, build things, and enjoy that we have something in common, which I think is something that we really, really need right now. Let's leave it at that. Of course, this is going to take me a couple months to set up. There's a lot of work to be done. And I'm not waiting for this to be perfect, but there is work to be done and concepts to make, people to reach out to. But this video is the very first step. It's sympathetic magic, right? The positive version of voodoo. You want something, you manifest it, and then it's gonna happen. At least that's the idea of sympathetic magic. I really want this to be a creative hotspot, a place where people feel good and safe and welcome, allowed to let their freak flag fly, and seen by other people. This is the first step. Everything starts with the first step. I just made an Instagram account while I had lunch. It's called Briggs Gallery LA. No photos yet. I don't even have a logo yet, but it doesn't matter. I kind of want you all to come along on this journey. The worst thing that could happen is it's not gonna work, but I don't know, then at least I documented it, you know, we have a document of how hard it is to open a gallery, of how hard it is to open a community spot. But maybe it's not hard at all, you know, that's the thing. Maybe it's not hard. Maybe it is like the screen printing workshop. People just make it seem hard, but you can do it, and you can do it yourself. So, if you're interested in this journey, I think the first step is to, of course, watch these videos. I will, of course, talk about it all the time. But also follow Briggs Gallery LA, just see what it does. And I will reach out to people that I really want to showcase their work, and I will build my shop and continue making content and building things. I will lean more into the sculptural stuff, but I will also, for the next months and weeks, of course, lean into building this gallery and shop space. So, long video, lots of talking. If you're still here, I'll probably see you one day at the Briggs Gallery for Makers. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy taking the next step and opening Briggs. And I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye. Before you go, I want to thank Milanote for supporting this project. Milanote is a super flexible app specifically built to organize creative projects. Whether you're designing, building, filming, or doing it all at once, it is made to help you plan things visually in a way that actually makes sense for how creative minds work. You can create mood boards, make to-do lists, drop in sketches, upload files, add links. It is like a digital workspace where you can collect all your ideas, inspirations, and notes in one place. And the best part is how open and visual it is. You're not locked into a template or a structure. You can move stuff around, add things, take things away, zoom in, zoom out in a way that feels right and makes sense for you. What it is actually designed for planning, I like to use it to document my process, because usually I build things and then 5 minutes later I forgot how I actually did the little ins and outs. So to document it for myself so I can revisit a project after the fact, or to share it with people who maybe want to build this project in the future, Milanote is perfect to document exactly that. Orders of operations, sketches, videos that inspired me, you know, screenshots of my process, the little ins and outs that are tricky to recreate and easy to forget. I record it all with Milanote. And the very best thing is, Milanote is actually free without a limit. You can use it for free for an unlimited amount of time. So if you have a project in your head and you just want to get the idea into something visual, I highly recommend giving Milanote a shot. Again, it's free, try it. Why not? It works great for me. So I want to thank Milanote for supporting my work. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week with a new video.